So the UK government are speeding up the diagnosis process for autism, and they're spending £75 million on it. Whew. Let's talk about it. Guys, welcome back to TheAspieWorld. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD, and dyslexia. I make weekly videos all about this stuff. So, if you're new around here and you'd like to learn more and see more, remember to hit the subscribe button by clicking the notification bell down below. And if you're watching on Facebook and Instagram, make sure to give this page a follow for daily videos. Oh yes. Guys, what is going on? Make sure you check me out on TikTok and Twitter too. Okay, so, this is juicy goss. Before we get into that, make sure you downloaded my Autism Life Hacks PDF book for free, available to you at autismhacks.net. Super dope. Guys, I came across this article, which I will leave a link for in the description down below, so make sure you check that out. There's a bunch of other stuff in the description too. But there is a new landmark strategy for improving the lives of autistic people in the UK. Apparently, published on the 21st of July 2021, the government of the UK released this statement saying that the government has launched a multi-million-pound strategy to help speed up a diagnosis process and improvement of support care for autistic people. It's called the Autism Strategy. This aims to tackle the inequalities and the barriers autistic people face so that they can live independent lives, more fulfilled lives, faster diagnosis process, and better healthcare and social care options for autistic people of all ages. The commitments will support better education tailored to the needs of the autistic children and young people. So there's three areas that they're trying to cover here. Now, one of the most interesting things here in the UK is that if you want to get a diagnosis of an autism spectrum disorder, you go onto a waiting list. Now, this waiting list consists of basically they put your name down and you're in a queue, and this queue of people is currently, it started off a couple of months, and it was 6 months, and it was a year. Now it's 2 years, and I think it's 2.5 years. So you could be waiting for an autism diagnosis for 2.5 years. Now, why is this a problem? Yes, it's a problem because you don't have official diagnosis papers to see, what issues you actually have and what maybe you don't have or whatever. But more importantly, that if you have a, profound learning disability as well as autism, or you have an autism spectrum disorder and you want to access help and support in education or maybe social care, then you can't do that without having an official diagnostic document, right? So having a 2-year wait list is 2 years of more struggling for people who really need the support, and sometimes ends in some really bad mental health episodes, and in some of the worst cases, obviously suicide, which is obviously what we're trying to avoid here. Now, the reason that there was a big, huge backlog is because we have a public health care system called the NHS, which is absolutely fantastic. God bless the NHS. I was born into it. I think it's amazing. It's probably one of the best things we have here. Anybody tells you anything otherwise, don't listen to them. The NHS is fantastic, in my opinion, in my humblest opinion. Now, the NHS only has access to funding when it's released by the government. So certain areas get funding, like obviously, life-threatening diseases and things like COVID have more precedent because they're of a more imminent nature. But autism has always been left in the back burner. So this actual strategy aims to actually give the NHS this 75 million in the first year, which is interesting. So it says 75 million in the first year aims to speed up the diagnosis process and improve the care and support for autistic people. The funding includes a £40 million NHS long-term plan to improve capacity in crisis services and support for children with complex needs in inpatient care, which is very interesting, which what I was saying before about, you could get crisis needs that happen because of this backlog in diagnosis. Autistic people face multiple disadvantages throughout their lives, and too many people struggle to get support that is tailored to their needs, which is really, really interesting. So, early stages of autism are already covered with certain things like CAMS and stuff like that, like child care services for people who are kids, or you go to school, you get support, you get one-on-ones and things like that, and there's loads of respite support for parents. But when you kind of turn 18, there's this big gap. There's a big difference from the care you receive as a child as the care you receive as an adult, which is exactly why I set up my own online membership service for parents of more adult type of people on the spectrum, which is obviously levelupautism.net. It's a $27 a month premium service where you get coaching with me in a group setting. But if you're interested in checking that out, you can definitely check out levelupautism.net down below and see if there's any spaces available. Just click on the link. If you can enroll, then sign up. But besides the point, lots of people need care, and here in the UK, having access to something like this on our social care is definitely what people need. Now, there is a 5-year strategy, and it was developed following the engagement with autistic people, which is super interesting, and their families and carers. It will support autistic children and adults through better access to education. Cool. More help to get into work. Amazing, because 80% of autistic people are not in work in the UK, but 100% of them want to go to work. Preventing avoidable admissions to healthcare settings, and training the prison staff to better support prisoners with complex needs, because this is another thing, you have autistic people behind bars. And I did an interview with Alex Reed, who was diagnosed with autism, and he's quite a famous guy. He's really cool. He's a good role model, and he was talking about the prison system and how they're not set up to, unequipped to deal with people on the autism spectrum being behind bars, because let's face it, it's like 700,000 people in the UK have an autism spectrum diagnosis. So some of those people will have been in and out of rehabilitation and police custody. So it's important that these people are trained. So a lot of the money is going to training, which is really good. Now, Secretary Savid Javid, who is the Health Secretary for the UK, he said improving the lives of autistic people is priority on this new strategy. It's backed by 75 million. Yes, and they truly believe that this will create an understanding and inclusivity for autistic people in all aspects of their life. It will reduce the diagnosis waiting time for children and adults to improve the community support for autistic people. And this is crucial in reducing the health inequalities they face and the unacceptable life expectancy gap that exists today, which is true. There's a big life expectancy gap there for people who have profound learning disabilities, and any other kind of neurological disorders. There's a huge gap there. Now, I'm really interested in seeing how they spend this money properly, and is it going to be distributed fairly? I'm going to kind of keep a close eye on it. I don't know who else backed this, but I will try maybe do an updated video on this once a bit more of this kind of strategy is unveiled. But then they have a 3-year strategy for this, and I think they're going to be working with schools and support systems as well as local healthcare boards. Very, very interesting. So there is a huge issue obviously facing a lot of autistic people with things like social benefits and healthcare and stuff like that. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Now, Caroline Stevens, the chief executive of the National Autistic Society, said, "We and our supporters have long campaigned for a fully funded public understanding campaign, significant investment in reducing diagnosis waiting times, and a better post-diagnostic support," which is very, very important. When people get diagnosed, they come out and they think, what on earth's going on? And actually, the NHS refer people to this channel, my channel, because it's a good resource, right? Because there's nothing official in place at the moment. No one should feel judged for being autistic or to have to wait many months for potentially a life-changing diagnosis and vital help and support, which is what I was saying earlier. So the National Autistic Society have backed this, I guess, and they're all for it. So I'm happy and I'm excited about this, and I want to know how it goes. There is a breakdown of how the money will be spent apparently here, which I will leave for a bit of background information in link down below. You can read this article, but if you have anything to add, pop it in a comment down below. I'm lucky enough that I had my diagnosis done a few years back, so I am going to keep a close eye on this and update you guys accordingly. So let me know if you have anything to add to this, pop in a comment. If not, give it a thumbs up. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.